back towards the early days of Japanese history with the Heian period. The Heian period was a golden age of Japanese culture. It lasted from 794 to 1185 AD. And members of leading noble families spent much of their time at the imperial or emperor's court. Art and literature flourished, and one of the earliest novels ever written, and also a classic of Japanese literature, was The Tale of Genji. It was completed in 1008 by Lady Murasaki Shikibu. The novel tells the tale of Genji, the emperor's son, and his many romances and adventures in imperial court. The novel gives historians a window into upper-class court life during the Heian period. And as time passed, the nobles began paying fewer taxes to the emperor and established large private estates or manors. And by the end of the Heian period, Japanese lords, or the daimyo, were becoming too powerful, and they began raising private armies of samurai or Japanese warriors. The imperial government grew weaker, and feudalism started to develop as it did in Western Europe. Although feudal systems existed in both Western Europe and Japan, there was a major difference in the power and the social structure. After a period of war, one of these lords arose as the most powerful. The emperor named him the shogun. This means supreme general of the emperor's army. The emperor remained in power in name, and he remained at the top of the social hierarchy, but the new shogun ran the country. This pattern continued in Japan from 1192 to 1868. Now for the part that everybody's been waiting for, the samurai and the use of Bushido. I'll tell you what Bushido is in a second. The Japanese warrior class was known as the samurai, also called the bushi, hence the term Bushido. They formed a class in and of themselves from the 9th to 12th centuries. They emerged from the provinces of Japan to become the ruling class until their decline and later total abolition in 1876 during the Meiji era. The samurai were fighting men, skilled in the martial arts, and the samurai had extensive skills in the use of the bow and arrow, the sword, and the samurai were also great horsemen, but they could just as likely have killed you with their bare hands. Now these tough guy warriors were actually men who lived by a code called Bushido, and it was their whole way of life. The samurai's loyalty to the emperor and his overlord or daimyo was unsurpassed. They were trustworthy and honest. They lived frugal, thrifty lives with no interest in riches or material things, and rather they were interested in honor and pride. They were men who lived by true valor or bravery. The samurai had no fear of death. They would enter any battle no matter the odds, and to die in battle would only bring honor to one's family and to one's lord. Now, as Yamamoto Tsunemoto would have said, if one were to say in a word what the condition of being a samurai is, its basis lies first in seriously devoting one's body and soul to his master. Now, here's where it gets a little different from what we're probably used to in terms of warfare. The samurai would rather fight alone, one-on-one. In a battle, a samurai would call out his family name, his rank, and his accomplishments, and then he would seek out an opponent with similar rank and do battle. When the samurai had killed his opponent, he then severed his head, and after the battle he takes the heads of his enemies back to show proof of his victory. The heads of generals and those of high ranks were transported back to the capital and displayed for the officials and others. Now both men and women from samurai families followed the code. Women learned how to fight so they could protect their homes from robbers. Samurai were expected to live simple, disciplined lives. They believed that self-discipline made them better warriors. To improve their discipline, many samurai participated in peaceful rituals that required great concentration. Some created intricate flower arrangements or grew miniature bonsai trees. Many samurai also adopted Zen Buddhism, which stressed self-discipline and meditation. Obeying his lord was important to a samurai's sense of honor. Honor was the most important thing in a samurai's life. Honor was so important to the samurai that samurai would frequently take their own lives in the face of failure or if he had violated Bushido. Such shame might be caused by disobeying an order, losing a fight, or failing to protect his lord. This honor suicide became ritualized, taking the form of seppuku, also known by the more vulgar phrase harakiri. Seppuku was a way for a samurai to restore honor to his lord and family and to fulfill his obligation of loyalty if he had failed as a samurai. Ritualized seppuku involved the samurai wearing the proper garments while he was presented with the ritual knife wrapped in paper. The samurai would then take the knife and cut open his stomach from left to right with a final upward cut at the end. However, seppuku was not a solitary act, and few samurai were left to die in a slow and excruciating death from disembowelment. Another samurai would typically stand behind the one committing seppuku and then behead him with a sharp sword shortly after the seppuku cut was made.
Although it was created as a code for warriors, Bushido influenced much of Japanese society. Even today, many Japanese feel a connection to the samurai. For example, the samurai's dedication and discipline are still greatly admired in Japan. Values such as loyalty and honor, the central ideas of the samurai code, remain very important in modern Japan.